A man known as Yu attends a job interview for an engineering position at the Moon Space Station. His qualifications are technically sound, but his record is deliberately ordinary. He has constructed a life of calculated mediocrity on purpose, keeping himself safely below the line where ambition draws attention. The interviewer sees through the averageness and places him in the maintenance department anyway. Shortly after this, Yu finds himself aboard a rocket heading to the moon. The project he is joining is called the United Nations Moon Shield, the UNMS, and it exists because of a specific crisis. Mars's gravitational pull shifted, and one of its asteroids, designated Pi, redirected itself toward Earth. To prevent catastrophe, the international community created the UNMS and fortified the Moon Space Station, constructing a weapon called the Cosmic Striking Hammer using helium-3 technology. The plan relies on the Moon's gravitational pull to attract the remaining debris after the hammer destroys the asteroid, effectively using the Moon as Earth's shield. 8 years of coordinated work follow. The UNMS succeeds. Pi is neutralized. Earth is declared safe. The crew erupts in celebration and begins preparing to return home. Yu's priority during this celebration is not the mission. It is Commander Xing. He has been in love with her for the entirety of his time on the station, and he has spent the return preparation period composing a confession letter. While the crew gathers for evacuation, Yu retreats to his room, puts on headphones, and throws himself into practicing what he wants to say. Meanwhile, Xing's right-hand officer delivers urgent news. A solar storm has pushed their weapon off its original trajectory, and the debris will now strike the moon in under 30 minutes. Xing announces emergency evacuation. Every person on the station moves toward the shuttles. Yu, sealed inside his music and his rehearsal, misses the alert entirely. He fails to notice the warning blinking on his room monitor. He fails to register the view of space rovers streaming toward the launch area outside his window. He finally surfaces from the music in time to watch the first shuttle depart. He sprints to his rover and races toward the remaining vessels. 6 shuttles are still on the pad when he begins driving. By the time he reaches them, 5 launch simultaneously. 3 minutes remain before asteroid impact. 1 shuttle is left. He contacts the team. Communication has already gone down. He shouts into the void, demanding to know why nobody noticed his empty seat. His seatmates, it emerges, both have stiff necks and have been sitting rigidly facing forward the entire time. The empty seat beside them went unseen. Yu drives toward the last shuttle. A massive crater opens in his path. He plunges into it. He climbs out desperately and watches the last shuttle lift away from the surface. Debris from the asteroid strikes the moon. Yu runs. His strategy is to shelter in a crater on the assumption that the same spot will not be targeted twice. Another fragment lands exactly there. The force throws him across the surface. He tumbles and loses consciousness. When he wakes, he is still alive. He screams at the sky until the frustration is spent. Then he tells himself, with shaky conviction, that he should be easy enough to spot from Earth. A massive piece of asteroid debris impacts the planet below, and he watches his homeworld sustain the damage from the surface of the moon. For 6 days, he broadcasts on every available channel and receives nothing in return. The supplies in the station are sufficient to sustain him for the foreseeable future. He holds a funeral for the people who died. Then he decides that since time is no longer constrained by schedule, he should address some personal desires before whatever comes next. One of these is entering Commander Xing's quarters. He types in what he believes is the lock code. Wrong. He writes every possible combination on the door over a long period of time and eventually gets it right. Another ambition is moon surfing, which ends his first attempt in an undignified tumble. He persists. He eventually masters it well enough to erase Neil Armstrong's footprints from the surface. Before gaining access to Xing's room, he runs out of patience entirely and detonates the door with an explosive. He prepares his quarters like a date setting, attaching Xing's photograph to a chair across from him. During the meal, he misses catching something, and it lands on the photograph. He takes the opportunity to lick it off the picture while imagining her presence. What Yu does not know is that the UNMS crew survived and has established a new headquarters on Earth. From there, through surveillance cameras still active on the station, they can see everything. The crew watches Yu's date with the photograph in silent mortification. Xing sits completely expressionless. Her colleague Zhu offers her water. She accepts and drinks it before anyone can inform her it has been boiling. She remains unreadable. The team attempts to communicate with Yu, but discovers that all they can do for now is observe. The channels allow them to receive video from his end, but not to transmit to his. Xing informs them the rescue mission is postponed. Chairman Yang interrupts with different instructions. The upper command has ordered a broadcast in 30 days. Yang calls a meeting to present Earth's situation. 30% of its land surface is now submerged. Volcanic gas is spreading through inland cities. Depression is accelerating, food is insufficient, and diseases are gaining ground. The chairman wants to offer the population a living symbol of hope. You will be that symbol. Zhu objects that Yu is nowhere near heroic. Xing overrides the objection and explains they will edit his audio. She writes a script, records a narration, and broadcasts the account of Yu, reframed as a man who voluntarily surrendered his shuttle seat so a crew member could escape. She announces that in 30 days, live footage of Yu will be shown to the world. Across the damaged Earth, desperate survivors tune in. One crew member, Lassie, quietly raises the matter of those who choose not to believe. Xing says they will be persuaded. Those who question the story have been quietly disappearing. On day 196, Yu decides it is time to reunite with Xing in the only sense currently available to him. He has spent time attempting to end his life through both starvation and overeating, and has failed at both. He discovers a medication in the records that might assist. He heads to the warehouse. Simultaneously on Earth, the live footage feed is disrupted. The only voice actor available is a man called the Flutist, a performer who has no script but carries tremendous self-confidence. As the crew counts down for the live transmission, and the flutist begins warming up his vocal range, Yu opens the warehouse door and encounters a silhouette in the dim light. He approaches it carefully and explains that there is enough food available for two, though his heart belongs to someone else. He pulls back the covering. A large, muscular kangaroo blinks at him. The transmission begins at precisely this moment, and the camera centers on the animal. The flutist, operating without guidance, voices the kangaroo and delivers a cheerful greeting to the viewers at home. Xing attempts to stop the broadcast, but moves too slowly. Everyone watching has now heard a kangaroo talk. The stream is cut. Xing and Zhu brief the chairman. The research department, it emerges, had been keeping a temperamental kangaroo named Kong on the station. And the flutist is not a professional voice actor at all, but a social media entertainer known for comedic impressions. The flutist offers to perform a song. Xing hits him. The team decides to shift to narrated voiceover rather than dubbing. Meanwhile, Kong has established control over the warehouse. Yu dresses in a female kangaroo costume and attempts to draw Kong out through attraction. The animal approaches with clear intentions. Yu does his best to disengage. When he reveals himself, Kong reacts with a punishing kick. The flutist responds with uncontrollable laughter. Xing hits the flutist again. The commander takes responsibility publicly for the broadcast disaster, removes the flutist from the project, and is immediately called back due to another developing situation. Yu has located a 3D Gatling gun and is advancing on Kong with it. The viewers lean forward. The situation reverses immediately, and Kong demonstrates that it does not need defending. While this unfolds, the flutist is broadcasting his flute playing through his earphones. The audio reaches the station. Xing sprints to him and kicks the instrument out of his hands. At the same moment, Kong delivers a conclusive strike, and Yu loses consciousness. Xing contacts Yu through the communication channel. He wakes and, for the first time, sees movement on the monitor. He cannot hear them yet, but he can see that others are alive. He collapses in relief. He negotiates with Kong to stand down and requests a high five as a gesture of goodwill. Kong answers with a punch instead. After they reach an understanding, Yu and Kong suit up and head out to retrieve the broken Apollo 18, which carries an escape pod that could get them to the lunar station, and from there, back to Earth. The UNMS locates a lunar robot called a lunar dog to assist Yu when the moment comes. Zhu, who has been watching Yu repair the craft, remarks on his capability with something approaching genuine admiration. He is only listed as maintenance personnel. Xing pulls up Yu's actual file. He is a flight dynamics engineer. Zhu wonders aloud how he ended up in the maintenance department. On day 282, Yu and Kong go outside. The craft has a weight limit because of its compromised engine. He has to travel light. He accelerates ahead in the rover. Kong catches up immediately and puts him in a headlock while he is driving. Yu remembers the prototype asteroid weapon engine. It could power the craft. He instructs Kong to stay. Kong beats him and follows anyway. Zhu confirms the idea is theoretically viable, but argues the journey to retrieve the weapon and return before sunset is impossible. The transport runs on solar power, even accounting for the fact that one lunar day spans 14 Earth days. The distance exceeds the vehicle's range. The flutist tells the viewers it is an impossible mission. Yu stops driving as the sun drops. Zhu then notices Yu has been heading west, the opposite direction from the destination. As the sun rises again, Yu reveals the plan. He will chase the sun to sustain continuous solar power across a 41-day journey. On their 28th day, both Yu and Kong are failing from sleep deprivation. They tie a rope between themselves so the sleeping one will be tugged awake by the moving one. After exhausting weeks of continuous driving, they reach the weapon. Yu warns Kong too late not to press anything. Kong enthusiastically presses a button, triggering a countdown. It is only an inspection timer. They load the engine and head back. Yu secures Kong and the weapon in a sealed section of the vehicle to prevent any further incidents. He does not notice the section has detached from the main vehicle until he is already well ahead. He has a choice: turn back for Kong and risk losing daylight, or continue to the base and leave the kangaroo behind. He continues forward. He rants about how it would not be his fault. He turns the rover around. He retrieves Kong. The kangaroo licks him when the door opens. Yu jokes that at this rate he takes punches better than gratitude, so Kong gives him one. The calculations confirm they will not reach the base in time. The flutist tells viewers they cannot give up. Xing directs every available resource toward excavating the lunar dog to deliver batteries to Yu's vehicle. With 142 hours of sunlight remaining, Yu drives without sleep for 53 hours. Sunset arrives. The vehicle shifts to battery power, extending their range by 5 hours. The lunar dog launches to intercept, but Yu has switched to power-saving mode, cutting his tracking signal. The cabin temperature drops. The battery dies 55 kilometers from the base. They suit up. Each suit holds 5 hours of oxygen. Ju volunteers to pilot the lunar dog to them, but the robot needs to clear a crater by jumping and its warning light activates on approach. It goes over the edge. Everyone watching falls silent. Yu and Kong sit on the surface. Yu tells Kong that when he goes, he does not want to become a star because stars are far away, and he wants to stay close to the person he loves. He thinks about Xing. Then he notices Kong is gone. The kangaroo has followed the reflection of light off a compact mirror, the one holding Xing's photograph. Yu fashions a kangaroo sled from available materials and uses the mirror to create a light trail for Kong to chase. The UNMS tracking system picks them up. A trained kangaroo covers 30 kilometers per hour on the moon. Yu surfs the sled, terrified and exhilarated. They reach a cliff with a gap too wide to clear. Yu detaches the covers from nitrogen tanks attached to Kong's harness, and the release of pressure propels them both across the gap and into the base. Earth celebrates. Survivors who had been struggling to find reasons to continue begin building something again. Yu receives a Nobel Prize in chemistry. The chairman accepts it on his behalf. 3 months later, Earth establishes contact. Days flow smoothly after that. Then, while Yu and Kong are playing together, Kong touches the broken communication wiring and produces static on the monitor. Yu realizes, in a moment that extinguishes everything, that the signal he witnessed all those months ago, the movement that told him people had survived, came from Kong accidentally brushing against the wires. He had not been in contact with anyone. He had been alone the whole time. Xing accelerates the plan to reach him with the truth. In the meantime, Yu goes outside and carves his own memorial stone, preparing to remove his helmet. Xing broadcasts his true identity to the world, not the edited hero of their narration, but the real person who, through completely accidental circumstances, gave the Earth something to hold on to. She asks the planet to help him understand he is not alone. Millions of people step outside with lights, torches, phones, anything that shines. Yu stands at his memorial with his hands on his helmet. The surface of Earth below him fills with light for the first time. He kneels. He goes back inside and turns on the monitor. He can finally hear them. He sees the UNMS crew. Tears cross his face as they make space for Xing. She says hello. He manages a quiet, high back. UNMS guides him through completing his craft. He is simply glad to see Xing every day. When the spacecraft is finished and Xing is briefly alone with him on the channel, he uses the moment to explain the one thing he has never said out loud. He had rejected the job offer originally. Then he saw Xing by the escalator and reversed the decision entirely so he could be near her. Xing admits she saw him on evacuation day running toward the shuttle and could not hold the launch for him. He asks if she would do the same now. She says yes. He tells her that is exactly why he loves her. Neither of them sees the radar alert, registering a new signal in the darkness behind them. The following morning, Yu and Kong launch. Their makeshift craft clears the moon, reaches the lunar station, and docks without incident on day 943. The crew celebrates. Then Ju calls Xing into a meeting. Debris designated Pi Plus is approaching Earth. Only one person, on a craft already carrying the cosmic weapon, stands between the planet and a second impact. Xing returns to the control room and cuts the live stream. The flutist claims signal disruption. Yu hears the news through his headphones and tells Xing before she can begin. He must manually pilot the craft and detonate the missile, and the probability of returning to the ship in time to survive is almost non-existent. He agrees to do it on one condition. Xing cannot remain a widow if he does not come back. He buckles Kong in and tells him to find a female kangaroo when he reaches Earth and enjoy his life. Kong forces himself out of the seat to stay. They separate. Yu navigates through a shower of meteorites, takes a hit, and spins out. He kicks a hatch open to depressurize and stop the rotation. The missile is still functional. The engine is gone. Pi Plus will reach him before he reaches it. He tells Xing this before redirecting the conversation. He does not blame her for the evacuation. She only did what she had to. She should keep doing her job. She refuses to sacrifice him. He requests the live stream be restored for his final broadcast, detaches the missile to the cockpit, and thanks the people who watched. He explains that he always believed mediocrity was safety, but he understands now that standing between Earth and what threatens it is what he was built for. He pushes the missile forward into Pi Plus's path. He sings Xing's favorite song. His suit begins to crack as he approaches the asteroid. His hands tremble. Xing's fingers move toward the detonator. She cannot press it. All Yu thinks about is her. The memories, the failed approaches, the photograph, the headphones, the love letter. He asks her gently to bring him home. She presses the button. The blast breaks Pi Plus apart. The UNMS watches the white screen. Survivors emerge to watch the pieces fall like shooting stars. Kong stands alone with the view. A child asks her brother if they can go home. He tells her yes. He points to the sky and says it is because of the Moon Man. 10 years later, Earth has restored itself faster than anyone predicted. People gather as the first mission returns to the moon. Xing and Zhu ride the first shuttle up. They dock and enter the station. Xing walks through it, and for a moment she sees Yu standing at the end of the corridor with his wide grin, exactly where he always stood. She reaches his memorial and stands beside it. She tells him, 10 years ago, the debris of Pi Plus settled into orbit and became a planetary ring around Earth. The Moon Man finally came home. His love letter is still there at the base, exactly where he left it.